Good afternoon from beautiful Eagle, Idaho. And I am here with the one and only Ron. And Ron, you know what I've often told people over the years, Ron? I've told people, you know what? It's not always what you know, but who you know that matters. And you know, you are a perfect example of that. Folks, I met Ron the other day on Facebook Marketplace, and I was looking for a lawnmower. And I went on Facebook Marketplace, and I found a beautiful Toro mower that was for sale. And long story short, this is the gentleman that was selling it. And I went over to your place, and you know, the first thing that struck me when I got over to your place was how beautiful your yard was. I mean, your yard was just gorgeous. And then you opened up the garage door, and I saw like 30 or 40 lawnmowers in there, and I thought, what the heck is going on? And you fix up mowers, right?
I do.
You fix up mowers, and then you sell them.
And I sell them.
Where do you get the mowers that you fix up?
Well, most of them I get on Facebook Marketplace. Sometimes people will buy a mower and give me their old mower. Really? And because it doesn't work, or they're tired of it and want to change or whatever. So yeah.
So they will you'll pick up a mower for what, like $20, and then sell it to a guy like me for $250?
Typically not that big a margin. Typically
after a lot of work.
Yeah.
Okay.
After a lot of work, just to make sure that they're as perfect as I can make them.
And you do a nice job with them. I've been really happy. But as we were talking the other day, you were kind enough to walk me through your property and point out some of the beautiful plants that you have, particularly the beautiful trees.
Yeah. Well, I had a landscaping business years ago, and I still like to play in the dirt when I can, and offer suggestions to people that have expressed an interest in maybe changing their landscapes or enhancing their landscapes and making them look prettier.
Wow. Well, you know, I told Ron that I said I won't nickel and dime you, because I was gonna buy an edger too, and I could have said I'll take the two of them for X amount of dollars, but I didn't do that because I thought, no, I didn't. Do people try to nickel and dime you a lot?
Not very often.
Nope.
You know.
Now your bride over here, she said she didn't want to be in the video, but she keeps interjecting.
Yes.
But she doesn't know that this can film both ways. You see, it can actually turn around and film this way too. This is Lisa.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah,
Hi, Lisa.
it's just that he doesn't always say exactly all the work he does and how what a perfectionist he is, and if there's an issue, people can come back, and he always stands by it.
Wow.
So
how did you get such a beautiful woman?
Online.
Huh?
Online. Like
She invited me
else.
to lunch one day, and I never left. And so she says. It wasn't exactly true.
Oh, goodness
Pretty
gracious.
close.
All right. But I told Ron, I said, Ron, I said, I'm not going to nickel and dime you, but I'll pay you full price on one condition. And you said, what's that? And I said, would you come over and walk my property with me? Would you come over and just give me some pointers on what I could do with this property insofar as, making it look nice? I want to be the envy of the neighborhood.
A legend in your own mind.
Yeah, I want to be a legend in my own mind. That's right. I want people to be walking down the street saying, "Oh, honey, I want our house to look as nice as his."
Absolutely.
So anyway, with that being said, let's start. Basically, what I'd like to do with you, we don't have to spend a lot of time, but I just kind of want to pick your brain about, how I can get the lawn. You could point out different things about the lawn, like I've got some brown spots, the edging and what have you. Sound good?
Okay, sounds great. Let's
All right,
do it.
so where do you want? Let's just start. We're going to start right over
back here. Yeah.
We'll start right over here. Now, but the question I wanted to ask, I'll ask you some of the questions, and then you can interject some stuff. Okay.
Okay.
So the sun. This is my. We are facing
South.
That's yes, that's south. We're facing south. So this wall right here is not necessarily going to get a lot of sun.
No.
Okay, it might get some sun, as the summer progresses. It might get some sun, but shade. And you know, they have some of this stuff in here, like this right here. I don't know if this is alive or dead. I don't know what it is.
At this point, it's kind of hard to say. I'd give it a little longer. It's some sort of a vine. I'm not sure what sort of vine it is. So you're going to want to put plants in here that take a north or east exposure.
Take a
north or east exposure. You should get some afternoon sun later in the summer, but not enough that it's going to matter, as long as you put plant material in here that are shade loving and north and east.
Are you familiar with that plant, Pyrus? It's a Japanese plant. You see, right there.
Okay, not real familiar with that.
So the term that you use is you want a plant that's north or
east facing.
North or east facing.
So
that's the terminology.
Like rhododendrons or azaleas are shade loving.
Okay.
But they like a northeast exposure, and they like sort of acidic soil. So you might have to amend the soil a little bit to, you know, coffee grounds, eggshells and things like that are really good supplements.
Now I had some plants. If you look over there, you see those red plants over there. Right there, Ron. Right there. So I had two of those plants that were planted right here, and somebody told me, you know, cut them, take them out, because they were reaching for the sun. They were all, you know, whatever. So I cut those out, and you know, I'm just thinking, I want to be conscientious about drought considerations, right? Dry. Well, you have a large yard. Does it take? Are you on irrigation water?
No, I'm on city water.
Okay, so you irrigate your property with the city water.
Right.
Okay. All right.
I try to be conscious, and if you can water for a longer period of time, but less frequent.
Like soak.
Yeah, like really soak.
Okay.
You're going to get, the roots are going to go deeper, and they'll become more drought tolerant.
These plants here, I have no idea. I mean, to me, they look dead, you know, but down
They're
at the
coming
base.
back, but these could be probably pruned back pretty significantly. I would take them all the way back to here.
You would?
I would.
Okay, so you would take those all the way back.
Yeah, they're already starting to push new growth. And that way you can give you another opportunity to really see what these things are going to do. And there again, I'm not sure what the variety is.
Okay, that's fine. And then, you know, that seems kind of out of place.
It is out of place for what they've done here.
And
that's burning bush, I think.
It's called burning bush?
The burning bush or a, I can't think of.
Now this looks healthy.
Yeah, that's kind of a red, I think that's red twig dogwood. And they will get a lot larger than that.
Okay, so again, we're going to cut this back, cut that one back. Okay, so those out, this one not, but I'll cut that back. You know what I'm a little bit confused about here is this. Here is my irrigation control valves. If I open this up,
that's...
I've got a valve here.
You do. You've got a hose bib and you've got a valve.
Okay, and then this right here would be a filter.
Yep.
And that line going there is probably for a drip.
Most likely for this bed.
Right. Now we're on irrigation here, water, So you see, here are
your valves.
So they come out and they turn on. See, my water's not on right now. We're on irrigation water, canal water. And a lot of people will say you got to have somebody come out and turn on your sprinklers. So when I look at this, you know, there's a valve. That would seem to be it's a supply line. But if you look down this little tube, you see a valve down there. Can you see it?
I can't really see that one.
Well, there's a valve down there. If you were to look, if the light were right, there's like a shutoff valve. And that must be the shutoff valve for the irrigation.
I would say so.
So, but what I don't know is I'm trying to figure out where's the flow. You know, that valve is in the off position right now.
Okay, this
Now
one.
there's another one of these, there's another box up front, which we'll look at.
Okay.
And the box up front has all of the valves, several of them, but there's
Okay.
no shutoff. You
Okay.
follow? Okay.
This could be your main. I don't know on irrigation, on these subdivisions, a lot of times the line will run at the back of the property all
That-
the way across the
That's
development.
what would make sense. Okay.
And as a result, probably, and this has got, this is probably the drain, either it, are you sure there's
Yeah,
not
that-
two
that-
valves in there or just one?
Just one. There's just one valve down there.
Okay.
Okay. But anyway, let's continue on.
Okay.
So right down here, you know, I'm just looking for, you've got some beautiful trees in your property, you know?
I've got a lot of plant material that you don't normally see, but I think I explained to you that when I had my landscaping company and landscape maintenance company, I did work for Hans Barbonas, who owned Cloverdale Nursery, and as a result I was able to get a lot of plant material. I traded labor for plant material,
I'll be darned.
and so I was able to get a lot of things, you know, that you normally wouldn't see in every
I see.
yard. So,
Okay, wonderful. This right here, there were two of these. I don't know what
yeah,
this is.
those clematis.
Clematis.
And they
Okay.
bloom in the spring, and they're climbers,
Okay.
and so typically you can cut them back all the way back.
Can I cut all of this off?
I would just leave them alone at this point, but this is all new growth coming here. You could cut everything that's not green out.
I could. Okay, and
But it's
it'll.
not really necessary, but it won't hurt a thing because
Okay.
it'll climb all over these
Now
trellises.
this one is not growing at all, and I'm just wondering if it's dead. You know?
It looks like it might have a little, it looks like it might have gotten frosted
Okay.
at the base, but I would just put some water on it and it'll probably come back.
Okay, and then of course I've got my
These
roses.
are roses,
Sure.
and
They look healthy.
are they kind of a climber, or are they
I think they're ground.
just a ground type? Huh?
I think it's a ground cover. I think
But
it's
I
a
would
ground cover.
I would definitely get them. This one I would either probably selectively prune this part off because you don't want it in your lawn.
In your lawn. Okay.
And then the first thing that I would do with your lawn here
Yeah.
is I would take a weed eater and go along here and weed eat back, and then use your edger to go along the edge.
And one thing I wanted to ask you about the edger.
Okay.
So one thing that I noticed about your lawn in particular was the edge was a
crisp.
good. It was crisp, but it was a good like 1 inch
Yeah.
from the. Yeah, I mean you had
From
a thick.
from the actual concrete,
Right. I mean
or
you
whatever.
you had a good space there.
But that's probably just the fact that I've done it for 10 or 12 years and I do it every week. So
Because
It
I know
takes a while.
when you run that blade, the blade is only so thick,
right.
right? But your edging is like this. So how are you using a single
it's just
blade?
over time. Just over time it'll work its way. You know, your initial cut on this is not going to be. It's going to be a little ragged because
Right.
it just takes a lot of
Okay.
continuous every week type
All right.
type deal. You've got a lot of edging to do around here.
I do. Yeah, that's why you sold me the edger.
But once you do that, once you've done it the first couple of times, you can zip through here and probably
Sure.
you might have half an hour or so
When
of edging.
Okay. When I look at this plant here, okay, I'm assuming this is a bush or a shrub, okay? Down at the base, is this what I want? Do I want to cut that away?
I probably would.
Okay. You would cut it away.
Yeah, I would cut. I would just go in and cut these, and I'd probably leave it a little naked right at the bottom,
Uh-huh.
and then encourage the growth to go up.
Okay. Wonderful. And then let's talk about the lawn real quick.
Okay.
So one of the questions I have is, if I'm going to be planting new seed, okay, are there different varieties of grass? And do I need to identify this particular type of grass and get seed that matches?
I would.
You would?
Yeah, I would.
Well, how do you identify the grass?
Well, about the only thing you can do is take a pretty good sample, you know, cut out a pretty good swath of it here, a square.
Uh-huh.
Take it into Zamzows
Okay.
and have them look at it. I mean, typically the grasses in Idaho do have a bluegrass that's mixed with some rye and other things. You don't want a pure bluegrass because it's susceptible to a lot of lawn diseases.
Okay.
So you want something that's a mix.
You know, it's a little challenging for me. It seems that when you go, and this is not unlike any other place, but you know, Zamzows has got a lot of locations. And when you go in one place, you might find people that are a little less competent or knowledgeable than another.
That's absolutely the truth.
And, you know, so when you say cut some grass out and go down to Zamzows, you know, I mean...
What I would probably do is call, they have a corporate office. I would call and find out who on their staff is the most knowledgeable about turf grasses. And I'm sure that you might even see Jim Zamzow, who's the owner.
There you go. Have you ever met him?
I have, and he's a very, very great guy.
You see why I pay you the big bucks?
Absolutely.
Because you've got all this great
Absolutely.
information. No, I don't pay you the big bucks, but I fed you a good lunch, didn't I?
Good lunch, absolutely.
Okay, so looking at these brown spots.
But
How
these
would you
brown
treat
spots
these?
are not going to come back. So if you can identify the turf and get something that's very close to what you've got,
Mm-hmm.
I would just buy X amount of rolls of sod.
You would?
I would.
Okay.
And then I would go in
And just cut.
and I've got, if you don't have a half moon edger,
Uh-huh.
you either buy one or I've got a couple of them. And what you can do is you can cut out a section, let's say, and you go a little wider
Sure.
than you normally would, but cut it out so that when you've got your roll of sod, you can take and make a perfect cut off the roll of sod that would fit in there.
Okay.
And then when you put it in there, you're going to want to dig a lot of the soil out
Okay.
because of the urine and stuff that the dog
I rinsed it with
killed.
baby shampoo.
Might be all right.
Okay.
But I would get some additional good topsoil.
Topsoil. Okay.
You know, somebody like Cloverdale Nursery has got a garden mix, or they've got all kinds of mixes. But
Uh-huh.
I get about, the smallest quantity that you can get.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you want to buy a bagged product because I've not found a really good bagged product that doesn't, so
Very
you
good.
want soil.
Okay.
But go in and dig down. I'd probably dig down 6-8 inches
No kidding.
and remove that
Great advice.
because there's could be a lot of residual from the dog.
Great
dog
advice.
spots in there.
Now, question on this over here. You know, it's
Okay.
kind of interesting as you look at my lawn here, okay?
Okay.
So, aside from the brown spots, okay, this lawn looks pretty good.
It does look good.
This lawn looks pretty good. Now, I shouldn't be mowing it this time right now, or
Yeah.
is it okay to mow?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
How far down?
I would cut it just a little shorter than it is right now.
Okay.
And it never really hurts early in the spring to cut it back a little shorter than
Okay.
you normally would.
Uh-huh.
And I would recommend aeration for sure.
Aeration, but not necessarily thatching.
Thatching in the front,
You think I should thatch in the front,
absolutely.
but not back here?
Well, from what I've seen, I haven't walked the whole thing, but
Okay.
you have a lot of thatch in that front section.
Okay.
This doesn't look to be quite so much.
What I was going to ask you was this. Look along the fence,
Okay.
and it's distinctly brown, okay? Is that because of the trees over top?
I would say it's probably because the sun, you're getting a lot of sun exposure, and then also from the refraction of the heat that comes off that fence.
Now, it's early in the season. This hasn't really been watered.
And the water will definitely help.
The water will help it?
But I think you will always find that this area up against the fence will probably always be a little less healthy because it's going to get more sun than just about any other place in your
All right.
because of the backdrop.
You know, when we were having lunch, I asked Lisa if she thought you'd look good on the big screen.
Yeah.
You look awfully good on the little screen. You're holding the camera here. You look great on the little screen, so I can only imagine how good you're going to look on the big screen.
I don't
you know
about that.
But
I don't know about that.
anyway, so coming down here again. Now this area down here in this corner, it looks really unhealthy. You know, I mean, this whole area looks brown. Yeah. You know, right now, in here.
And see, in this area, you've got a lot more thatch. This could have been an area that had some damage to it by bill bug or something else, or maybe it just never did get quite enough. I think we just need to evaluate your sprinkler system after you get it up and running to see what your coverage is. I mean, that's got a head right there, so you would think that it would have gotten...
And a head right there.
Right there, I mean, the placement looks to be good.
Okay, all right.
But we certainly evaluate that and see, you know, what the coverage is. But I think along with aeration really will help your grass put the roots down.
Okay.
And then getting on a good watering program where you're not watering every day, maybe water every other day for a little longer.
Okay.
Time.
Should I aerate first and then thatch?
I always aerate first, thatch second, because that way when you take the thatcher,
it's taking the plugs.
It breaks the plugs up.
Okay, very, very good. And then you know what I'm thinking of doing with this area here? Not that this is relevant to our discussion, but this garden area here, I'm actually thinking of taking that whole area behind there and covering it and making it like gravel.
Absolutely.
You know,
I was going to recommend that.
So that would be, so this would all be either gravel or bark or something like that, like a patio area.
Absolutely.
Does that sound right?
That's perfect.
And then maybe around the beds come out about 18 inches, right?
Absolutely.
About 18 inches and all the way down. So I would have a path.
I would do that. Absolutely do that, because you know you're always going to have an issue with the grass here. Yep. And when you weed eat it, you know it's going to discolor your beds because you're going to get the green stains on it. Yeah. So I would definitely cut that out.
Would you put gravel down around here, or would you would do gravel?
I would do gravel.
Okay.
You know, tapes, you can get a sod cutter from tapes, and just mark out the area that you want to take out. Yeah. And it's not that big a job. Okay. And then coming back here now, I'm kind of curious. Now I've got trees. I got some trees in here and stuff. Am I supposed to be fertilizing these? Am I supposed to be watering these? Am I, you know, I mean, Zamzows has a really great product called Thrive. I have some of that. I would give all of your ornamental trees and shrubs a good dose of Thrive. What is the word ornamental? When you say an ornamental, what does that mean? Ornamental trees. Is that an ornamental tree? Or specimen trees. You know, all your firs and your flowering trees and everything, I consider them specimen trees. You know? Well, I'm sorry, you use two terms, ornament tree and specimen tree. Is it one and the same? They're both the same, yeah. So when I think of a Christmas tree, you put ornaments on the tree. So when you say ornament trees, it's just kind of like decorative trees, so to speak. But and specimen trees, they're typically trees that are focus points or things that really make your landscape pop.
wonderful.
Like here, you've got some flowering trees along with the,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you've got deciduous trees, which are trees with leaves, and then you've got your conifers and things like that.
Deciduous trees are trees with leaves.
With leaves.
Okay. See, this is why I was wanted you asked you to come over.
This is like pampas grass,
Mm-hmm.
you know, so it's gonna, in this case, it only grew about so big, but as they grow, year
Should
to
I
year,
cut
they'll
that
get
back? Should I cut
larger.
that back right now? The brown stuff?
Yeah, I would take the dead stuff off of it.
Okay, so take the dead stuff off. Here's a tree here that's, and not a tree, but a bush or something.
The bush, it still has the tag on it, so I'm
Does
not-
it?
Yeah. This is
What is it?
Rose of Sharon.
It's Rose?
Rose of Sharon.
Rose of Sharon.
It's hibiscus.
So this will flower,
Yes,
and I've got two of them.
got a couple of them. So.
I've got two of them. And then this here, I should, again, the fertilizer.
Yep.
You know, now something that's really confusing to me now is pruning. And let me see if I understand pruning, if I may, before you tell me.
Okay.
Okay. So as I look at this right here, what I want to do is identify branches. For example, this branch is coming across and crossing this branch.
I think you want to open things up,
Uh-huh.
you know, and I do what I call selective pruning on practically all my trees and shrubs.
Okay.
And I use that rule of thumb. Crossing branches, I typically don't like crossing branches, and I would typically take something like that off.
Uh-huh.
And it's best to do it now in the spring.
Is this a crossing branch? I guess so, right?
Yeah. It's kind of an outside branch though.
Uh-huh.
So as you go and as you prune, you have to kind of keep in mind what that cut is going to do before you actually make it.
Mm-hmm.
But something like that, definitely. Something like this, I would probably take the bottom one off because it's going to be up against your fence before you know it.
Mm-hmm.
This one might even be, I might even take that one off even though it's really high up.
You would take this whole thing off
I
right
would
there.
take it right off there
Oh,
because
this.
one is, yeah, right here.
Uh-huh.
And always trying to make
But you would leave this?
I would probably take this guy off too
Okay.
and just leave that
And just
one.
leave that one there. Interesting. Okay.
You just have to kind of look at the shape of the tree and how, that's the term selectively pruning comes to mind.
do I shape these trees at all?
No,
Just
you
leave
really
them.
don't have to do a thing with those.
These are going to get big, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're going to get really big.
Well, I've got a couple of them in my backyard over by the remote patio area that are about 10 years old, and they are 30 feet tall.
Now, are these going to be blocking out my sun potentially for the garden?
Not.
Sun rises in the east?
Yeah, it'll still come around across like
Okay.
this. I think it'll be fine.
All right,
with
very
that.
good.
But I definitely would recommend the graveling that area.
It really is a beautiful property, isn't it?
Beautiful property.
I mean, the stuff that you could do here, you know?
See, and again, Tom, you can see the thatch in here.
Uh-huh.
There's a lot of spongy thatch in this area right here.
So I could thatch this.
I would.
Should I mow the lawn first?
Yes.
Mow it first and then thatch it?
And then thatch it.
So when I mow the lawn, bag it?
Yes.
Okay, so bag it, mow the lawn first, then aerate it,
Then aerate it.
and then after I
thatch
air it, then thatch it.
And you're still going to have a big mess. You're going to have an awful lot of raking.
I will.
Oh yeah.
What are you doing Saturday? Huh?
How much beer you got?
How much beer do I
How
have?
much beer you have?
Huh?
We'll work for beer.
Hey, does your wife, does Lisa happen to have a sister?
Does she have a sister? Yes, she got
Yes,
one in
Oh,
Denver.
she does, huh? All right.
Got one
there
in
you go.
Denver.
All right, we're almost done here, Lisa.
Well, I was really sorry, but I do
Yep, you got
have to
it.
meet with this
Okay.
group.
So we'll wrap this up.
So
But,
you can see again here the thatch.
Mm-hmm.
There's a tremendous amount of thatch.
Interesting. I
in
thought
the
that was
bush.
just, I thought that was just grass waiting to turn green.
You know, it's grass. You can see the grass coming through it,
Yes?
but if the thatch were out of it, it
Oh,
would come
boy.
through so much quicker.
Wonderful. Okay.
And then another recommendation,
Mhm.
when you mow,
Yes?
every week change the angle. Mow this way one week, mow this way another week,
Okay.
mow this way another week,
Interesting.
and mow this way another. That way you don't develop ruts or tracks in your grass,
Wow.
and your grass will be much nicer.
Wonderful.
Again, you can see a lot of thatch in this
Yep.
area.
You can feel it when you're walking on it.
Yeah.
And then
Very, very
after
good.
you get everything cleaned up, you said you have put an application of fertilizer on it.
Yes.
I would,
Well over a month ago.
yeah, I would probably re-fertilize.
Okay. Very good.
And weed control,
Uh-huh.
I think I told you Weed Be Gone.
Yes. We'd be gone.
Weed Be Gone will take care of this clover.
Clover?
Clover and dandelions will do.
Uh-huh. Okay.
But
And-
there's quite a bit of thatch in here again.
Good. Over here I'm going to put in a flower garden.
Oh, nice. Did you say perennials?
Yeah, I'm going to put in a perennial, maybe a drought resistant type of a garden, a flower bed here,
Okay.
you know. And these three plants, I'm not too sure what those three are. It's called a 9-color something. What I was thinking of doing was transplanting these three plants, getting rid of those. I think those are called boxwoods. Somebody told me just get rid of those, you know, get rid of those. I was thinking about moving these
Yeah.
three
Would not be a problem.
right over there. And then these, I don't know what to do with these. I
I
mean,
don't
just,
know what these are either.
I don't know what they are, but, you know, there's
Uh,
some of them out back. Maybe I'll just find some place out there.
You could probably, I think there's probably an app out there if you took a picture of it
Okay.
that you could identify it that way, or take a picture and take it into one of the local nurseries and they can probably identify and tell you what the growing habit.
You know what?
Yes.
In where are you from originally?
Texas.
Where? Texas?
Texas.
But
Transplant.
in wrapping this up, so you can get on your way, you know, I often tell people one of the things I've come to appreciate about Boise, Idaho for that matter, in the time that I've been here, the short time that I've been here, it's just filled with wonderful people.
It's great.
And you're
place.
no exception.
Thank you.
You know, you're no exception. It cost me a lunch, you know, but
It cost you lunch, but
yeah, it cost me a lunch. But you know, but having the opportunity to walk this property with you and just have you share some of your expertise, it's beyond. I can't even begin to express my gratitude.
well, it's my pleasure, and I hope that we can be great friends, and this won't be the only time we
No.
get together.
You got to come for my 4th of July party.
All right.
Okay.
We're on.
Sounds good. I'll have some beer.
Okay.
Okay, I'll have some beer, and you can bring your beautiful bride with you.
All right.
You can bring your beautiful bride.
All right.
All right, folks. Have a great
Sorry to be.
have a great day.
Thank you.